You should have knew I was coming. Bitch, you should have knew I was coming. You should have knew I was coming. Bitch, you should have knew I was coming.
Alexa, stop playing music. The answer to today's question of who am I will be expressed in a piece called Mind Transmogrification. In presenting my perspective, I do not demand that you adopt this as your own, only to see if there's anything to be gained by acknowledging the reality that this expression represents. I call this wisdom-ism. Enjoy. I'm not a top scholar, renowned scientist, or spiritual authority. I don't have a degree from any of the 7 colleges I've attended. I haven't discovered a way to access any unknown portal to a world or a dimension, to ask any prophetic deity for the answer to the meaning of life. I haven't gained any immortal power by the selling of the soul at a place where the road splits off into 4 cardinal directions. Truth is, I started out as a young boy with this crazy idea I could someday be perceived as a wise man. I never had any aspirations of being anything like a doctor, a lawyer, or any political figure. Only the example of everything I believed to be the representation of honor and wisdom. And so, although without the benefit of having a cicerone, sensei, sifu, or mentor, in my innocence, I embarked on a path following a direction which looked unassuming, having only a love, an ideal, and a feeling into a world I had no reason to believe with all of my heart wasn't trustworthy. With this philosophy, I managed to exist as a member of society for 23 years before meeting my eventual destiny, placing myself in a perilous situation before the irrevocable circumstances which led me to prison. And when I fell, I broke. I broke so completely. Every second of continued existence became a suffering that was so pure that the slightest human touch was an incredible weight for me to bear. The tiniest remembrance caused an unimaginable pain in a heart where each beat was an agonizing torture. I was lost with no direction. My ideal was faint and unclear. My love of life dead and gone. The only thing that remained was a feeling, and like a beacon coming from deep inside of me, it was summoning me. Then, through the echoes from the screaming in my mind, the seductive call for a release into non-existence, arose the whisper of the first of those 3 questions. How did I get here? The question of how did I get to this point in my life, as you can imagine, was a very difficult one for me to find to begin with. I had hoped to have unburdened myself of this enormously difficult, awful, and painful responsibility, curing myself of this affliction through the agency of self-slaughter. However, the preventative measures I took with the hope of not being interrupted had fatally failed. It seemed I was destined to endure the anguish of these flashbacks and flash-forwards. So, absorbed in the stream of the agonizing thoughts of reminiscence, amid the voice's seductive whispers for release, across the gulf of years, over the Bildungsroman of my broken soul, I searched, sifting through the shards of my life like a shattered mirror while looking at my reflections in the broken glass. I searched, and I searched for weeks, months, through many more questions that arose before the answer finally came for where to begin. But it came. It came in the form of me bridging my science and my spirit, my base and my belief, my reality and my fantasy with ethics. Now, what is your belief?